are days that I feel like a strong woman. I want to buy a Chanel bag and I buy it for myself without having, anyone to pay for it. I just pay it for myself. But once that happiness, like short-term happiness, kind of like passed through, or like when you work really hard to buy a car and you got it, like yes, it's for my achievements. But there are some days that you'll be just sitting there and realize that along this journey, or for whatever that I'm pursuing, there are many sacrifices to be made.
Pui, do you find that you constantly have to fend off haters, either in person or online? I mean, is this your experience with social media, or are people generally really, supportive and accepting?
Surprisingly to me, people are very supportive. I do not have the experience of like people bashing from very many years back. Probably because I'm quite chill and laid back in general, so yeah.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, look,
I'm not saying there's not,
yeah, I'm sure there is. But, in a conservative country like Malaysia, you would think that people would be like shocked, clutching at their pearls, because, how dare she, have sex on camera for money,
Yeah.
So nobody's actually, to your face, said anything that would make you uncomfortable or you feel bad?
No. To my surprise, I realized after I came out of my story and do all this and started to meet more people are much more accepting. So I realized that it's one of the misjudgment of Malaysia as well. They are very, not say open-minded. We are not open. We are very educated and civilized as other countries, but there's also one stereotypicalness.
I noticed that a lot of your followers are really encouraging. When they meet you in person, if they're lucky enough to meet you, what's that interaction like?
They're really polite. I do not have this bad experience in this industry, which I'm really thankful of. They're really polite. Hi, I'm Free, man. I like you.
So you've never had a guy come up and be gross with you, slimy?
No, they're very polite and respectful. They do respect privacy, so they will keep a safe distance. They will ask your permission first before they can take any pictures. And I did, take pictures. They thanked me and they just
amazing.
Very polite.
Does it bother you to think, in your head, oh my God, this man or this person has probably, gratified himself to something I've done? Does that bother you at all, this thought?
No, in fact, there are a few times that there have really brave and bold fans that come up to me in the middle of a dinner in a restaurant. I was spotted in malls. They'd be like, hi, I'm your fans. I subscribe to you. Then I would just look at, how was it? Was it good? Yeah, thanks. I was like, then there was, some of them were shy. Some of them did not haste away. Like, yes, it was good. I like it. And it was like, yay, high five. And then he walked back out.
What was the shoot like? I can't even imagine. It wasn't in Malaysia. It was in an undisclosed location. So
when we did a shoot, it was kind of raining. It was drizzling. So we did have a setback from the weather, and then we do have setback on props. So we did take our time to set up. And then due to we were shooting, we kind of have to reconfirm all of the posts or all of the things to really suit to the things that they want. So we did have an on and off Zoom call on the spot to see if this is work.
Wow, it sounds like real work, doesn't it? It's not just, hello.
I'm here. No. And I do have a goal. I need to be on certain magazines someday. I have already set my goal.
All right.
What be on that magazine?
Name those magazines. We'll hear it here first. Let's talk about your mental health these days. You seem really bright and upbeat. Do you ever have a down day like normal people?
I do. It's not back in the past. It happens, quite often. It's not because of myself. Sometimes that when I grew, I realized people change, their friends had leave, and I realized it's, in industry, nature of the industry, work, money, fame and all that, I realized that there's not much that I can do. And I realized at this point, there are many of my actions that can't be justified. So if you understand, if you trust me, you stay. If you do not, then, at this point, just go ahead.
Is it true that money can buy happiness?
No. And I'm coming from a place where I've experienced both sides. You can be in not so fortunate place or house, but it's very loving and calm and feel very happy genuinely. Or you can be in a very beautiful, nice, private place with all the nice food and all the things that you can imagine of, but you're not genuinely happy internally. So it's not.
That said, you do make a lot of money every month. And it must ease that burden of unhappiness somewhat.
But there are days that I feel like a strong woman. I want to buy a Chanel bag and I buy it for myself without having, anyone to pay for it. I just pay for myself. But once that happiness, like short-term happiness, kind of like pass through, or like when you work really hard to buy a car and you got it, like yes, it's for my achievements. But there are some days that you'll be just sitting there and realize that along this journey, or for whatever that I'm pursuing, there are many sacrifices to be made. Be it like family, friends, or loves, or anything in general. And the way I've been brought up by my family has really let me see like how my mom and dad, love each other. So I would label it as like a hopeless romantic in a way. So when I love someone, I see marriage or relationship quite seriously. Means there's no thoughts of like planning for yourself. Or there's no thoughts of like you pulling out. If you can pull out, let me know. There's no things like plotting at the end or behind my back in a way. So when I do that, I go all in. But before I go all in, I have to know like is that person true for what he meant and will he really stay? Yeah.
Does it bother you that you may only be remembered for your photos and your pictures and the stuff you've done online?
No. In fact, I think the way I do it, I'm gonna be here for quite a long time. And I don't say that the things that I left is just photos and videos, because I really want to left like a platform or some of the stepping stones for many people that's coming up. And they realize it's much easier in a sense to get where they want to be or to convey their message without being as hard as how I did it.
All right. Do you feel that fate has robbed you of a normal life?
It did in some sense, and to put it bluntly, I didn't realize that those are the times I'm quite happy, happy, genuine happy. But I need to know, like that's my goal. Like I have goals to achieve, and if I want to go there, it start growing bigger and bigger. There are sacrifices to be made, and I couldn't live the same way as how I did in the past. As a person, I grow along the way. In the past, I'll feel mad, I'll feel anger, I feel a lot of, I'm angry at that incident. And at some point, it become like, aha, gotcha! I was like, yeah, happy about it. And then at one point where things started bigger and bigger, and I realized like, oh, there are many different, spots. Like, I feel like, because. And at this point, I'll feel like it happens when it should happen.
Do you think that at some point in your life, you might look back on all of this and feel differently? For example, when you have children, how will you navigate that conversation with them?
Mommy works really hard to give like the life that mommy couldn't have back in the past. Yeah. But I do understand, probably kids wouldn't understand what I do, but I think they will understand when it comes to college. In fact, I do realize as I'm going through all this, values are starting to change. It's good, it's where I want it to change to be.
Well, some would argue that it's not good. Like, everyone, I guess, has a different gauge on what values are, good values.
Yes, there are values, but for me, my ground value is as long as you be kind, you be humble, and you be truthful to people. You don't, rob, you don't like harm someone, physically abuse. That's fine. I don't view someone on like a moral, like, oh, you can't wear skirts here, you can't wear skirts here. It's fine. Are you a genuine, truthful, kind person? That's the most important.
All right. Well, Pui, it's been refreshing speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and and all the very best.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I had really fun. The most chill interview. Thank you. Yeah. I feel really comfortable.